Hello and welcome back to Price Horsemanship. Today we're gonna do something a little different here. I'm gonna work two babies at once here, and really, there's so many benefits of that. I feel like we feel like that, you know, because of the influence one horse has from the other, and vice versa. It's really a super cool deal, but also too from a learning standpoint. Being able to handle one while the other one's just processing what you did with it is really a cool setup as well.
It's good for them too, don't you think?
Yes, it is really good for them.
Learn to think and process with another horse in proximity.
Yes, and just as we've talked about before, don't you feel like the way that these horses will watch and watching from learning, and we know that they learn from watching?
Yes, they've done studies that have proven that horses learn from watching.
And so you'll see that play out here, but it's really a cool process. And so we've got two roan fillies out here today, and this is kind of a bigger area for sure. So it's kind of really cool to get out here and really see them play off one another here. So
this first one's really just at the very beginning. The other one's about 30 days ahead of her.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. So she's got a little more time with the other one. So we really, really believe and see it play out every day in the aspect of the learning process, as far as lateral learning and going left and right, and then having them find forward out of that. But what's really interesting here, this other baby, she's moving the other one right along, which is super cool and super beneficial. But also too, it kind of adds a playful aspect to things. Not so much that it doesn't detour from the learning, but also too, it really keeps the other baby kind of in a really cool frame of mind here. So, that aspect of one playing off the other here, stopping and pausing, and we really believe that, patience seems to kind of be a big deal that comes up all the time in horses, and so kind of taking them pauses and letting them babies learn intermittent pressure or intermittent patience, really.
And being approached, that one you were just loving on there was not approachable when she arrived.
Yeah.
She would hightail it to the other end of the pen when she saw you coming. So it's really, really cool to see her be so present for this.
Yes, and to see that play out and to see the influence it has on the other baby. So, it's almost like every little aspect here creates a teachable moment, which is super cool when you're out here, because wow, it's like there's an opportunity and there's an opportunity, and it plays so well with things. So we're working on the lead and that kind of stuff, impulsion, that kind of stuff, and one baby's helping the other. And so you'll see me just kind of circle around here, going different directions, breaking things up. I really believe that randomness is so good for, these horses. They get so patterned that randomness comes in there, and then they end up learning to wait on you. And then you kind of really develop that that patient anticipation in one, and that's really a super cool place to be out there. But
and these girls are going to grow up and work cattle, work around cattle, and have all of that stuff going on. So it's got to really be helpful to take those genetics that they've been bred to have and begin now really exposing them to outside pressures, whether it's another horse or other people or whatever's going on. I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, it is. And that's so cool that Elise brought that up, because again, work around cattle and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of random things that happen, and movements and all that kind of stuff. So, setting things up to be a little random is really cool. and at the same time kind of structured in a way. I guess you would call that structured randomness.
Selective structure.
There you
Sounds official. That sounds really on purpose, babe. Let's go with that.
Okay. So, so here, this kind of allows me here to get that set up and with the front foot right there. And what I really like about that deal there is that, this longer lead rope allows me to go from one to the other and kind of set things up so that, I can have one at the end of a lead rope there and do a little something with the other one. And all this stuff is just prepare. We spend 85 to 90% of our time, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And these girls, like I said, the one that's in the background has been with us for about a month, hasn't she? And
yeah.
At this point, and the other one, not as much time, for sure, a week, maybe 2 weeks, I want to say.
Yep.
So we use a lot of ropes. They've had a lot of handling with ropes, different ropes, the horse rope, these yacht ropes. They've had a lot. This is not the first that they have seen the ropes. Now, I'm trying to remember on the one filly with the halter on, is this the first? Not the one you're working with right now, but the other one, was that the first time you had asked her to lead by foot?
That was the first time.
Okay, so that's what I thought.
And in doing so, we're just kind of really working on looking for a difference in weight transition, not so much the act of stepping forward, but when they start transferring weight, then that they're starting to prepare themselves, which is really a super cool deal.
Thinking and going the direction that you're asking.
Yes. And, what Elise, touched on earlier in the video was that, look at this filly that's on the
right-hand side.
On the right-hand side, it has a halter on. Man, she's really, really watching here how this other filly's doing things here. And we discussed, they learn from watching. And it's really super cool to see that. And another thing I find kind of interesting too is, you watch these videos and you see where biomechanically where, when this filly here, when she tilts her head towards me and she kind of hangs out there for a little bit, she kind of really starts to learn to transition weight. And there she goes right there, which is really super cool. But again, there you have that other filly really
actively watching. She's actively watching.
Yes, actively watching, hanging out there, and so pretty uneventful stuff, but it allows me to kind of go back and forth and give that dwell time or give that
processing
marinating time, whatever you want to call it, recess, whatever it is, little macro breaks, that kind of stuff, really allows that to take place. And it's kind of interesting here to watch them process this stuff here.
And to see how differently they think. These two fillies learn very different one from the other. So it's cool in these double sessions when you can really see how different one baby learns from another. And then they're both sharp cookies and Hancock Valentine type breeding. So really sharp, smart babies, but very different learning processes.
Yes. And that's the aspect that a really important aspect of what we do out here is, really pay attention to that stuff. That that there are some areas where some babies are gonna, kind of maybe be a little more challenged by than others. But all in all, we're here to kind of put a layer of foundation on these babies in terms of what they're going to do later in life, but also you kind of figure out little different areas where maybe one's a little challenged by something and the other one says, boy, I can get by that with a breeze. And so to work on them areas to go from good to better. And again, we're out here going from one to the other, And you can get as creative as you want to with this stuff, which is really super cool. And I think that's don't you think that that's the having the longer lead rope?
Oh
like
yeah,
this
for
here
sure.
really
You go and do things like this, and I'm just in complete awe because that I would not something I would have thought to do. And I love that you think to do these things, and not only that, but that you are able to carry them out. For sure, I would not recommend that just anyone go and do this.
Yeah.
But you know these two, and you've handled thousands of babies, so you know when they're ready for this, and you're not going to ask something that they're not ready for. But I think that's a really important thing too.
Yeah, no, that's really something to think about there. And what's cool about this stuff is that you can be out here and doing some things. And what's interesting to me is how inclusive these babies are. We talk, at least we talk about this all the time, is when one area gets good, man, it affects so many other things, and they get better. And so yeah, it's just really super cool to come out here and be able to set things up so that these babies are familiar with some things. It's presented in a way that gives them just a little better understanding.
and learning to work well with others, even when others are being pushy.
Yeah.
I love that these girls are both sensitive in their own ways, but I love that right here you ask Valentine to step aside and not be so interactive. She takes no offense, and she takes the hint in a very soft way. You did not have to get aggressive at all. That was really a, hey, I need you not to do that right now. And she just stepped aside. They're just really cool-minded babies, these two.
So thank you so much for joining us today, and this is just a little bit of the things we do, and we're sure grateful to be out here doing it. So thank you so much.